Hi, I'm Kelly from KellyJonesJewellery. Today I'm going to be showing you how to wrap this interesting pendant. It's one of those Shiva Lingam eggs. So I've done it double-sided. So I tried to get the back to look like the front. So we're two-sided there. So I'll put a list of everything you'll need in the description below, of everything you'll need to make this, along with all my usual links. We've got Facebook, Instagram and Etsy, where I sell all my written tutorials, if anyone's interested in popping over and having a nosy at those. To make this pendant, you'll need 0.8mm wire, which is 20 gauge, and I've cut 4 lengths at 8 inches, which is about 20 centimetres. You'll need 0.315mm weaving wire, that's 28 gauge, and you can go up or down a step on these recommended gauges. So I've wound mine onto a bobbin. This is a Bobeeze bobbin by Beadsmith. You can wind your longer lengths. I'll start again. So it's for when you're working with the longer lengths of wire. So you just reel it onto, not doing very well am I? You reel it onto the bobbin, and then this sits down at your side while you're working, so it just saves the wire from flailing about. Today I'm going to be using a Shiva Lingam Egg. These come in all sorts of different pretty patterns. I think they're roughly all the same size. I've tried to measure it, but it's a bit tricky. Mine's about 28mm by about 15mm. But it is like, it's not flat anywhere at all. It is like a long egg. Yep, so I decided I'd challenge this shape today. So tools, I've got my, sit still. I've got my pliers, my cutters and my round nose pliers, and my tools are listed in the description below if you want to have a look what those are. So cut your wires to the lengths that I have. Take your 4 base wires, holding them centrally. I'm going to start weaving just to the left of your thumb there. So take your weaving wire, and we're just going to tie all these wires together. So we'll start with 3 wraps around the bottom wire. So we'll wrap around the bottom 2 wires, and then we'll come up between those 2. We'll go around the middle 2 wires, and we'll come up between those 2. Then we'll go around the top 2 wires, and we'll come up between those 2. So then we wrap around the top wire, come up between the middle 2. We'll go around the 3rd wire, come up between the bottom 2. Go around the 2nd wire, and then around the bottom wire. And that's our repeat. So keep repeating that weave. We go around 2 wires on the way up. And then we go around each wire on the way back down. And keep pressing your weave together as you go. So I've done 8 repeats of that weave, and sometimes your weave can keep sliding along the wires. So if our wires are 8 inches long, this weave needs to sit centrally. So just check that and slide it along a bit if you need to. And we'll finish that weave with 3 wraps around the bottom wire. So now we're going to cut the wire at both ends. I give it a little pull first so it's nice and tight, and then press those little tiny ends down so you haven't got any sharp bits. So now we're going to bend this weave. Now the bottom of the egg is sort of, it's not round, it kind of goes to a little bit of a point sort of. So we need to bend this so it'll sort of cup the bottom of the stone. So bend your weave and adjust until it cups. Oh, it's done that. That's done that pretty much straight away. Adjust it till it cups the bottom of the stone. So now we're going to take those front wires and grip in just the front wire. I'm going to bend it in, and then on this side just the front wire right at the base of the weave there, and bend it in. And because it's like we have to do this side as well. Everything we do on one side we'll try and do on the other, so we match up the front to the back as we go. So right down at the bottom of the weave there, bend it in, just the wires closest to you, so these are the wires at the back, and we bend that one in. That one's going back for some reason. So our egg needs to sit in there, pulling them apart a little bit because mine's quite a chunky one. So that needs to sit against the bottom of the weave, and then these two wires come up the front. So it's easy to be heavy-handed with this and then we'll misshape everything. So we need to do everything quite gently as I'm forcing it into the bottom of the weave there. Where the wires cross, we're just going to gently bring them up the middle of the stone so they come up. I'm keeping the stone in there because of the width of it, because it's quite chunky. The wires are coming forward rather than just going into a shape. I'm just pulling this wire back over, and then I shall do that one. So we want them just to come up. So hold your stone, if we look at it from the side a sec, push your stone right down so it's sitting in the weave, and then looking at the side, just lean on those wires, which are our front and back wires, and just shape them a little bit so they hold around the stone, because I was just looking at mine and my wires were sticking all out here. So push it down against the weave and just pull the wires in gently so the front and the back, well, and the sides are all cupping around the stone. So we'll just add a bit of a weave onto these two wires that have come together. So take your weaving wire and we'll go 3 times around one of the wires. I'm going to call it the bottom wire. And we'll slide that right the way down to where the wires meet. A bit of my hand cream is marking my stone. It could be the wire. I'm going to have to check because I could be marking my stone. And then we'll go 3 times around the 2 wires. go twice actually. We'll just go twice around those wires and we'll leave it there. I have marked my stone a bit. I don't know if I'm leaving bits of copper on or if I'm rubbing bits off. So we'll take another length of wire and we'll attach at the other end. So in the same way, we're going to go 3 wraps around, we'll call it the bottom wire. This will all get much easier to handle in just a moment. I just hope we don't mock the stone too much. So 3 wraps around the bottom wire, slide it down to where the wires meet, and we'll go 3 wraps around the 2 wires. And we'll just go 2 wraps around the 2 wires. New tutorial now in my Etsy shop. Got a bracelet for you this time. This is a written tutorial with loads and loads of pages, hundreds of images for you to follow along at your own pace. Available exclusively through me on my personal website and in my Etsy shop. So check it out and I'll see you there. Bye! Next we're going to add these side wires into our little weave here. Just pushing it down a bit. So we take the side wires and I'm going to have these front 2 side wires of the 2. I'm going to let it come up a little bit and then about here, making sure I've just got the 1 wire, I'm going to bend it in directly forward. And I'm going to do the same with the other wire. So you want to get about the same kind of height on that wire. It's about there. And then we're going to turn that wire completely in. So these new wires are going to curve. We just pull my weaving wire out the way. They're going to curve and meet where our weave is so they can join into that weave and then they'll go back out again. So this needs to come up, meet at the weave and then curve out like that. So we can then add those 2 wires to our weave. So I'm just going to tie them together. So I'm going to go around all 4, trying to keep them nice and flat. Twice. Come up between the bottom 2. And then go around the middle 2. Twice. We need to press that together. And we need to do the same with the other side. Press the stone down. And then we need to bring those side wires in, as we did for the other side. So trying to guess a match up with the other side. I'm going to take that wire and I'm going to bend it forwards. And then on this side, take that wire match it up to that one. So I need to grip just above that. And then bend that one forwards. This will all start making sense in a bit. So now we need to do the same with these wires as we did with the other wires. So I think I'm going to need a bit more weave. I'm just going to do another repeat of that there. So I'm going to go around, oh, my wires are all crossing over each other at the top. So I'm going to go around all four twice, and then around the middle two twice. And then I'm going to finish with 3 wraps around that second wire, so it matches the bottom, because that's where I started my weave. And I'll cut that weaving wire at both ends. Flatten down the ends and do the same for the other side. So with the stone still moving about, start again. So the stone is still moving about, as you can see, but we have cupped it from the front and the back now. Now look at your wire shaping and take your time. Take a few minutes just to sit and go over the wire shaping. We get this bit right and then it'll look tidier when we do the next part. So we want the 2 front wires to scoop out. I want them to scoop out quite evenly if we can. Not too far down the stone. So we're gripping roughly the same places at the bottom to the top, so it holds. Because I was thinking if we grip the stone here and here, it'll hold. If we capture it at these smaller ends, it'll hold. If you're holding it towards the middle, it's just going to slide about. Shape those wires going out, and we do need these wires coming out a bit as well. When you're happy with the shapes, we've got to pinch the front and the back. So hold the weaves front and back. Now look at this wire and this wire. They're going to go to the back, but they need to meet this wire. So make sure these two are the same height and they're going to come together and meet. And these two, they need to be the same height. And then we're going to just slowly bring those wires together. Around the sides of the stone. And then when you've got them meeting on the sides, they then need to be the same height as each other. So looking at this bit now, we can see where they have to meet. So we're going to bend those up now with pliers. So where those wires meet, we're going to bend them straight up. I'm missing the wire. And this one. It's never going to be perfect. And we'll go to the other side. And we'll do the same here. So when we've done those, and you need to angle them back a little bit, because they're all going to come together now to the middle, then these next wires have to go out. And then they'll bend up too, but they need to bend up where the wires meet on the sides there. So we'll bend that up there, so that's a little bit easier to do. And then do that on that side too, where it meets that wire. Bend it up. We do that on the other side as well. So you should have this shape on the front and the back. And then we're going to weave on this side here, where all the wires meet. We're going to do a little weave, and we'll just do the same as we did for the bottom weave. So you'll need to bring your wires up, because at the minute they're all crossing over each other, nightmare. And where the wires meet here is where we're going to weave, not at the bottom there. So matching the bottom, I'm going to do the 3 wraps around the wire on this side, so this one. So I'll do 3 wraps around my bottom wire, then I'll do the same weave for a little bit. So I've done repeats of that, the same weave that we did on the bottom, and I've done 4 repeats. And I just want it, I'm going to bring both weaves over to join on the middle, so it's only got to come to here. So I'm going to do 4, and I think I'm going to leave a length of wire attached in case I need to add or take repeats, and then I'm going to turn it over and I'm going to do the same weave on this side. So I've done 4 repeats. Have I done 4? No, I've done 3. So I've done 4 repeats of that weave on both sides. And you can see how it's holding the stone now. That last little bit of movement should go when we trap it at the top. So we can cut the weaving wire at the bottom of these sides. And press those cut ends down. So next we're going to push these weaves over the top of the stone. So make sure your stone is pushed right down. Make sure your weaves are compressed. And we'll start to shape them across the top of the egg. Now I want them to come a little bit lower, so I think I'm going to take a repeat off each side to try and get it quite snug there. The amount of weaves you will need depends on a number of things: the size of your stone, the height of the bends in these wires here. So if your wires come a bit lower, you'll have a longer weave. So add or take on how yours looks now on the position of yours. I'm going to go with 3 repeats on each side, and then where the wires meet at the top, I'm going to bend them up. I'll do that on this side as well. So your shorter length of wire, because I've got a shorter length and a longer length, the shorter one we need to finish off and cut it. So wherever it's finished, wrap 3 times around the nearest wire and we'll cut that off. So now I've just got the one longer length of wire attached. And I'm gonna tie around the whole thing a couple of times. And then I'm going to take the two front wires out. Just pop them over there. And I'm going to take these two front wires out, pop them over here. And then I'm going to go around the remaining wires. So I've wrapped around a fair few times. I'm going to take another wire off for this side, and I'm going to take another wire off. Hold on. So that's gone. That's the wrong wire, isn't it? So I want this front one for this side. Turn it around, and I want this front one for this side. So I've got two left standing. And I'm going to wrap around those, but I'm going to wrap around those two a bit more organised. So I'll go around the two and then around the one. So I've kept repeating that weave for about 2 centimetres, sort of. Keep pressing it together as you go. Finish with 3 wraps around one of the wires and we're nearly done. So looking at your wires from the front, we need, hold on a minute, that's it. So we need these two coming out to the side and this one going out to the side. And these two come out to the side at the back, so we're looking at the back for those. So we've still got quite a bit of symmetry going on. And then this middle weave is going to be our bail. So that is just going to go straight over and down the back. Bent those wires out so when it comes to it meets the back there. And then take that bit of weaving wire and we want to wrap around, so we attach those two wires down but we don't go around anything else. So take it around a few more times, just going around all the other wires. Go around a few times so it's all tied down and then we'll finish with 3 wraps around one of those wires from our bail. Cut your weaving wire and press down the cut end. Take those 2 wires. I'm going to take them around quite low down so they just kind of hide amongst the bail. They'll get hidden under other wires. And we'll just cut those off and leave those out the way underneath everything. Looking at the front, trying to get it nice and straight. I'm going to take our front 2 wires And I'm going to scoop them over the other way, am I? And this one. And the top one. I was going to finish off the back the same way, but I don't think it's going to work. We can try. So I'm going to scoop these wires around. And this one. I don't know how that's going to come around. There we go. So that one has gone through the middle. I think I want to make that follow one of the wires instead. So they all come together. So we've got 3 at the front and 3 at the back. And that's so I'm just going to wrap those around, I think. I'm going to wrap them around and I'm just going to wrap them around that bit and cut them. And I'll do the same with this side. Take them around and I'm just going to wrap them around there. Finish them off. I haven't oxidized one of these eggs before, so we'll be able to see how it comes out. First time for everything. So I've just finished them all off going around the top. I tucked a few in there because I had a bit of a gap. So there we have it, I've oxidized mine. The oxidizing didn't affect the stone, it's still a little bit damp as you can see. But it came out really nice. So I've oxidized mine. If you'd like help oxidizing yours, I did a video on oxidizing and aftercare. I'll put a link in the description below. So thanks for watching, and if you've got this far, thank you. As always, I will see you all in the next one. Bye for now. Bye.